welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be the first part of our music app series. So, in the previous video, we did set up the backend and something related to that, but in this video, we are actually going to start our Android project. So, the first thing for any project or for any Android app is basically a splash screen. So, we are today going to start with setting up our splash screen. So basically, to the first thing that I need to do, the very first thing that we need to do is that we need to create a project. So this is basically the latest Android Studio right now available. So I'm gonna you go over there, create an empty activity. Next, let's name it Musify Android. Okay, so this is done, and then we will click on finish. Once you set up this, click on finish this, you will see something like this. It will take some time to build the project, so just wait for that. Okay, so the basically the project is set up, and you will see something like this, most probably something like this. Now the first thing that we need to do is we will get over here into this build.gradle file, and now under this section we'll set this splash screen. Just make sure to update it to the latest version, which is 1.0.1, and you can also replace it with a version catalog. So basically, like all these other SDKs that are there, so you can just click on replace and it will do it automatically for you, and then you can sync it. Okay, so now you can see that the setup is done, and now the app is there like this. So you have this main activity, you have these resources and stuff like that, which is very traditionally like available in all the Android projects. Okay, now the first thing, as I mentioned, is that we need to set up the splash. So if I open my Figma, you will see that the previous design when I showed you had a different icon, and this time it's different. The reason I'm using this one is because we want SVG, and that design had like it had an image or a JPEG which was not required, or like which was not possible to change it to a vector. So I'm basically I have updated this icon to this, and now from over here we'll export it. So I'll just go over here, go to PNG, convert it to SVG, and then we'll export it saying IC underscore logo. Okay, once you export that, we'll go back to our Android Studio, and now over here in the drawable section, we'll go over here to right click new, and then from the new you can go over here to this vector assets, and then from this vector assets you can go to local file. From there you can go to the desktop, and then in the desktop you'll see that I created this IC logo image, so you can just load this. Okay, now one thing that you need to make sure is that you need to change it to 50/50 so that it can adjust into the splash that we will be using. Now over here, one more thing you will see, that is, let me just switch it back. Now over here you will see, let me just slightly reduce the size for this. Now you can see that there have been some sort of issues with this margins, but for now we'll keep it this way. We can fix it. We can definitely fix it by like reducing it to maybe 148 something. Yeah, I think if 148, it looks much better. And then for height you can also change it to 148 as well. 48, if not 48, 46, 45, you can see that 145 or something like this. So basically this is something that we have right now. Now this is one thing. The next thing that we need to do is that we need to go over here into our values and go to the themes, and now inside this theme we need to define a theme for our splash screen. Okay, so I'm gonna use a style, and I'm gonna call it theme dot start screen, something like this, and the parent for that is going to be theme.splash screen. So basically this is important that we do. And now inside that we need a couple of properties. So basically we need a Windows splash screen background. We need I think we don't need the icon background. We need the animated icon definitely, and we don't need these two. Sorry, we need the duration as well, so let's just keep that. And we can also set up a post splash screen theme. So basically we need to define what theme it should basically go for once it's done with that splash screen. So for that, I'm gonna say Musify Android, right? So you can just get rid of that by setting it up like this. Okay. So now this is something that we have. The theme is there. Now this theme should be set up as first thing in the manifest. So I'm gonna change it to this. Okay, the theme is ready. The icon right now in this theme is set as IC launcher foreground. Instead, we need to set it up to our animated theme logo that we have right now. We don't have any logo, so let's just start working on that. And the first thing that I need to do over here for that is that basically I'm gonna change that to group. I'm gonna basically name it, and I'm gonna name that specific uh, the specific thing to, let's call it animated icon, something like this. And now from there we'll just take all that path that's there, come on, and paste it like this. Okay, so once you do that, you will see that you have this animated icon that's there. Now the next thing that I'll need is that we need to set some sort of pivots. So I'm gonna use pivot X. That is going to be half of this. So I think that is 77, I think, if I'm not wrong. And then same is going to be for that, or not 70. So should be 74, and that is going to be 72, something like this. Okay, so these are the values that basically it's a half of this viewport. So again, that's something that we did. Now animated icon is there, all these things are there as well. The next thing that we need to do is that we need to create our animated drawable. So I'll get over here, create a drawable resource, and I'm gonna name it as animated icon splash, something like this. Okay, now over here we'll go back to the code section and now change this value to animated vector. Now once you do that, you'll need basically some sort of drawable for that. So I'm going to say Android drawable, and then over here I'm going to set it as IC logo, which is something that, what we used. And now inside that we'll basically set this as something like that. Okay, so now over here basically we set this target, and inside this target we set this animator as animator splash, which will basically handle all our animation and stuff related to that. So to do that, I'll need a couple more things first. So again, we'll go over here, go to Android resources file, and then inside this resource file, let's call it animation, and change this to animation. Okay, this is again important. Like over here, you can see this animation. So that's something that you will be using. Now over here you will be using this overshoot interpolator, nothing else. It's just the way it is, you'll keep it this way, right? And then over here you can go over here and create IC animation, or what was the name, let me just find that name, animator splash. So we'll get over here, resource, create new Android file, change it to animator splash, and also make sure that it's animator, not animation. Okay, and now over here you can see something like this. And then over here what we are going to do is that we're going to say object animator, and inside that we will define our property values. So basically the property values could be like scale x. Okay, which means now it will scale from one value to another, and let's say we want to scale it from -1, which is like negative this, maybe we can use 0, and then from the value 2, which is, let's use 0.7 for now. This is, again, this is basically a hit and trial, so we are not sure how exactly you can set it up, but for now let's just use something like this. Okay, this is for scaling of x, and then let's use scale y for this. So basically, which means now how it will scale for y. And I think that's pretty much okay. So I think once you do all that, you see that we have set as an IC launcher foreground, which is not the one we need. Instead we want the animated icon splash. Once you do all that, one more thing I think I missed over here, and that is you need to define your interpolator as well. And I'm gonna use this default one that I have. So once you do all this, the next thing would be to go to your main activity. And now inside this main activity, before super.on create, I'm gonna use install splash screen, and then I'm gonna apply some settings to this. So which means that keep screen or condition set to true. So basically, this true means that until unless it's true, the splash will keep on showing, and if you set it to false, it will hide the splash screen. So let's just start uh, doing some sort of implementation so that we can handle that. So I'm going to set it to a variable, and that set variable will be assigned over here, and then later on we'll change the value to false so that it can update. Right now over here we'll be using coroutine scope with dispatchers.io dot launch, and then over here I'm going to add a delay for like 2 seconds. So it after 2 seconds we will set it to false so that it goes away. And I think that's pretty much what we need to do. Let's try to run the code and see how it looks. Okay, let me just get rid of that splash screen background animated icon. That's pretty much what it is. We go to our manifest, the theme should be start theme. Again, that is correct. Animation animator does looks correct to me. We go to logo, we have this animated icon, splash activity. Sorry, animated icon should also say something like this. And this should be, yeah, I think we pretty much what we want. Let me just change it to zero point 0.4. And yes, there's one more thing I missed over here, that is duration. The duration should be, let's set it to 1500 so that we can see if the animation is basically shown to us or not. Now let's see how it looks. And now you can see that the icon basically animated perfectly as we want it. You can change the values to like further. Let's say if you want to minus zero point 0.4, let's say you want to initiate from very low value and then you want to animate it for like 1 second, so something like this. And now let's just try once again. Let's see what happens. So basically the thing is that all this that you do is basically hit and trial thing. You can keep on doing different kind of things, and whichever thing you'll feel like, okay, this thing is now correct, you can keep those values. Okay, now that is one thing. Like you can see the animation that we did is for 2 seconds it did, like it went over there. And then what next we need to do is that we need to animate it back as well. Like before showing this, I would want the animation to like go back, and then we can create the new screen. So so we can do that as well. And how do we do that is that you can go over here into this main activity, and now over here inside this uh, section, you can see we have something like this, which is set on exit animation listener, which will help you creating how you can basically animate the, sorry, how do you want, what do you want to do when the animation is completed. So the exit animation basically helps with that. And now over here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna set some sort of animations. Okay, so now over here, what I'm gonna say zoom x again. The basically how the, like how the zoom thing was being done. I'm gonna say object animator offload. Now over here we will define the value. So for example, which exactly view do you want to animate, and how exactly you want to animate. So basically these are those values. This is basically set to view. Maybe if you want to change it to icon view so that the only icon is animated, so that's something for this. And then you can also use the value for zoom by. These values again, now basically you can see the value is set to 1. Since we are scaling only on to zero point 0.4, I'm gonna use zero point 0.4 for that, and same is going to be zero point 0.4 for scaling Y as well. And then you can set some sort of duration for that. So I'm gonna set 500 for both. And once the duration ends, I think there's one more thing that we can do, and basically that is going to be do on end, which means that one what happens when we the animation for zoom Y ends, same is going to be the animation for zoom X do on end. We'll be using the same thing for that. Now we are not going to use this right away. Instead, I'm going to say zoom X start, zoom Y start. Okay. So basically what happens over here is that as soon as the initial animation happens, and then it starts to getting hidden, rather than hiding directly, what it will do is that it will animate back like it animated initially. So let's just test that and see if what I'm saying is actually working as well. Now you see it animated, and after that it will animate back. You see that it animated back, and then after the animation was completed, we saw this icon. It was quite slow of it going back, so maybe we can reduce the duration for that, like this. Then it went back. So let's just set it to 300 so that it not take that much of a time. Yeah, I think this is now looks good, like it animated and then it went down. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is for setting up our splash. The next thing that I want to do in this video is that I would want to set up my themes and fonts, because that is also important. So to set up my font, what I need to do is that I can create a directory and I can call it font. I think it should be font. Okay, so these are the fonts that we can use. This is basically I'll share the link of from where you can download in the description. But this is Century Gothic and Century Gothic Bold. That is basically the same font that is used in our Figma file. So I'm gonna use that over here. So this is something that we can place it right here. Now, the next thing would be to set up our UI theme, like I mentioned. So basically, the first thing that we need over here is that we need to define some colors. So basically, what I did is that I went through the Figma guideline that we have, and I copied the colors that are there. You can yourself get those as well by going to the component section, and inside that you will get to know about the fonts that we have used, and also these are the color schemes that we have. For example, for background, we have these two kind of background, for dark and light. The text again, for like some title text, and then different text, we have something like this. For colors, other color scheme that we can use is something like this. So basically these are the values that you can take it from the Figma, and you basically place it over here. So I basically created all these things over here. The next thing that I would do is that I'll go over here to the theme section, and now over here you can see that there are some sort of color schemes that are defined. So I'm gonna just change them to this. Now, what we did is that basically we use the same colors that are there, and we use it over here as a dark color and light color schemes. Okay, and then we have this types. So I'm gonna use the whole types that are there. But before the types, what I need is that I need a font family. So I'm gonna say font family is equals to font family, and then over here we will define the font family that we have. So I'm gonna say font of r dot font. Let's just load that r file. So yes, that's basically r dot font dot century gothic. You can also define the other font as well. For example, I think you don't have these, so we can just get rid of that. It should be something like this. So these are some fonts that we have, and now over here inside that we can create all the fonts that are there. So for example, for a display large, you can say this. So this is basically all the fonts that we can use. I think that's pretty much, yeah. So basically what we did is that basically we use the font family from here, and then you we can also we can just define the bold and normal based on what we have. So you can also like maybe use that font weight dot normal so that it matches the theme that we have. Okay, and now I think everything is there. What one more thing that I would like to do with the theme here, this section, is this dynamic uh, theme is saying that dynamic should be true. I'm going to set it to false. I don't want to use dynamic themes. Instead, I want to follow only my colors for this. Now I'll show you exactly how it looks when we create something in our main activity slide. Right now we have just this, and let's just add a couple more. Let's maybe create some texts like this and say that this is the main content. You can also like set some sort of style for this, and then I'm going to say material theme dot typography dot maybe title large. So yeah, that's something that we have. Now I'm going to run this and we'll set it, see how it looks over here. Right now the font is something like this, which is the default Android font, and now it will load the font that we have set. We can see the animation, which is a good sign. Okay, there's one more issue with this. I'm gonna use columns to fix that issue. And now let's just use something like this. Try again. Okay. Now you see that the content is, this is how basically the content looks. And let's just change the mode to dark and see if the themes updates. How do we change the theme to dark mode? Okay, I think we don't have that right now. This is the dark theme. Maybe we can add it over here. Go back, and now you can see the dark theme when I click on that. Okay, so now the dark theme is enabled, and now you can see that the content color automatically changed to white. So you can change it back to white to light theme, and when I change it to light theme, you can see the content color changes accordingly. So basically that's how we wanted. We will be working with the other colors as well and all the other themes as well, but I think for now we have pretty much everything ready in terms of the very basic start of how we want it. In the next video we'll see if we can implement the Koin with annotation. That is again a new topic that we will be covering, and along with that we'll see if we can maybe do some other stuff as well, but I think for now we are good. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, please comment down below. You can subscribe to the channel if you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy coding. Bye. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you don't forget any update. If you got any question, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Also, for quick updates and tips, you can follow me on Instagram. Until next time, keep learning, keep developing. Bye.